I never saw what Dave said that he was like so excited to share.
Oh, that I was right about Lucas Kyle.
Girl, I was shooketh.
It's hard for me to get excited about shows anymore, but that moment, and not even because I was like, oh, I called it. It just like how it unfolded. I was like, oh.
Good.
Shut that box. Otherwise, Dave's going to be like, noises. Now you get to watch me eat Cheez-Its.
Great.
People pay
and
to
also,
watch us.
You're not listening to it because none of you listen to it. So I'm turning it off. Okay, bye.
We are School Walking Dead, a podcast pulverizing programs beyond the Walking Dead universe. Sometimes we give you news, sometimes we make you laugh, but most times, not this time, we go deep.
A reasonable amount of deep.
Below the surface, but we're not going scuba diving like David does. And if you hadn't noticed, we are sans David this evening. We are here to talk to you about the 6th episode. Bridget just informed me, the 6th episode of Silo, titled Barricades. Very fitting.
The 2nd season.
Barricades. They're hitting these titles right on the nose, aren't they?
Yeah, I know. Like, what am I supposed to talk about, Dave?
Right? What do you think this means? There was a literal barricade.
There was.
Yeah.
Normally I'm like, I don't have anything. And then I'm like, wait.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, I've got it.
But then.
Literally for this one, I guess if you're considering, okay, see, now I'm going to do it again. If you're considering barricades as like a metaphor, then one, Juliet is blocked from being able to leave the current silo that she's in until she fixes the pump because Crazy Eyes, Steve Zahn, took her helmet. While there was the barricade for Holland of this uprising situation, that's ongoing. I don't know why I said was. There is. It's still happening.
Currently. I think Sims has a bit of a barricade, but he seems to be overcoming those with the help of Camille.
That did not go the way that I thought it was going to. It didn't go the way Dave thought it was going to either.
Oh, yeah. I think we all thought Camille was going to get in a lot more trouble.
No.
Than I did. I expect something to come to that.
And now I'm like, that wasn't her intention, clearly. She had like a whole line rolled up to like give him for what she was trying to do.
But do you think it was just for Holland? Do you still think it was the truth?
I don't know, because based on the way that she reacted when he said, does your husband know about this? I was like, girl, who are you working for? I need to know more. What's happening?
But I also don't see any reason she would have to be helping Knox and Shirley. To what end she would be on their side, other than somehow helping out her husband.
That's why I'm like, something about this doesn't sit right. There's a piece that we're missing.
Help them now so that Sims can capture them later.
Maybe?
That's the only thing I could see.
Unless, I don't know, is she a flamekeeper or something? And I'm like, just not getting it.
Ooh.
Do I not know something about this? It feels like there's secrets that I'm not privy to.
That could be a huge revelation later, too, to find that out. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, everything she's doing now makes sense.
Well, kind of like a Chekhov's gun situation. Why did we learn about the flamekeepers? Because really, they were only introduced when we were getting George's backstory.
I forgot about him until just now, honestly.
It had like a little bit to do with Allison, but it was mainly about George. And now we've completely taken it out. Yeah. And the writers of this show are way too intentional to just drop something and forget about it. It's not going to happen. So it's got to come back somehow.
Agreed.
I don't know if that's the way.
I'm surprised they haven't reminded us along the way either, though. I forgot about Flamekeepers until you just brought them up.
Dave and I have maybe mentioned it like here and there throughout. It's not coming back via the show.
Right.
But that's just not the way that they write this.
It is still very early in a series, too, where maybe they had a storyline in mind for these Flamekeepers, and then they were like, never mind, it's not going to work out. Just forget about them.
I don't know, because all of this is based on 3 novels. It's based on a trilogy of novels. You may have heard me talk about Will. Will is the first one. Dust is one of them, and I don't remember the third one. Okay. But anyway, it's a trilogy of novels, and based on what I listened to of Wool, but then I switched to Earth Abides, it follows pretty closely so far.
So these Flamekeepers are very relevant. They are part of the story.
They must be somewhere.
Okay.
I don't know if they've already served the purpose. It seems a little empty if that was the entire purpose, was just that little bit. I did not take copious notes like Dave does because I just haven't.
I took zero. I have
I took zero notes also because that is just who I am now, apparently.
Yep. That's
It's
my
like
life.
Walking Dead proper ended, and I'm like,
I don't care about anything anymore.
I don't even care about my own life anymore.
Nope.
I'm just kidding. That's not true.
I'm going to admit something that's really stupid because it took me a minute to realize that the silo goes from like the lowest numbers to the highest numbers while descending. So when they were like, oh, the barricade's on 130 and we're going to take over 120. And I'm like, you're going the wrong way. They're not, because they took 10 levels up.
No, I mean, I think I had that same moment, so don't worry about that.
Okay, good deal.
It's taken me a while to figure out the system for it. But to be fair, we don't live in a silo, so why would I know?
Exactly. And they refer to like the down deep, but in actuality, it's higher numbers. So it's like,
oh, yeah.
my brain is like, make sense of this somehow.
We'd started covering Silo and From at the same time. We did the big, massive episodes kind of back to back.
Oh, covering the,
we're covering like the previous seasons that we hadn't covered. And I had felt you were going to like From more than Silo. And so I just kind of want to get like a check it, because it seems like the opposite is true and that you've really, really enjoyed this one, which I guess just kind of surprised me because From is so horror based and you and I really always gravitate towards the horror aspect. Yeah. We really like the horror.
We like the gore.
Charity and Dave are like, yeah, it's fine, I guess, if it's a vehicle for telling a story. But you and I are like, yeah, sick. His head got ripped off. Yes, it was awesome.
For sure. Since From, I've kind of been going into any new show hesitantly. I really wanted to like From. And I do love and appreciate the gore. The special effects, they nail it. It's fantastic. They do a great job with the blood and the effects. I really like that. My only issue with From is lack of answers. And the answers they are giving are not satisfactory to my liking. I get frustrated when you've spent this much time with a show and you still can't really tell anybody what it's about.
That's fair.
So that part frustrates me. This show, I know exactly what it's about. Yes, there are still mysteries, but you have to have that to continue engagement. You have to have a reason for your viewers to come back and want to watch. That's the mystery. But we're getting enough answers. At the end of the first season, we found out there's more than one silo. Hello, that's huge.
Yeah.
But there's enough mystery to just sort of like keep you chomping at the bit for more. I mean, it's not as bloody and gory, but that's fine. I don't have to have the blood and gore. I just like it. This show is interesting to me. And it's, I don't know, possible. I could see a future where
it's very dystopian, which is also an area that you and I really enjoy.
Yes.
All of us enjoy that. That's kind of how we all kind of got on this in the first place. But I know you and I especially like gravitate towards novels that are dystopian and stuff as well.
Oh, absolutely. End of the world, bring it on.
We find out that the Raiders are holding the deliveries. It was really continuous from the last episode into this episode. Knox and Shirley are down in Walker's and Shirley is tenderly touching Knox. We all could see this from like a mile away.
I'm so mad about it. I did not want that between Knox and Shirley.
I mean, she's his shadow. It feels inappropriate.
I think it's going to screw up their professional dynamic.
And the same breath, doesn't matter if this whole thing's going to end anyway.
That's fair.
Then I guess find love where you can.
Maybe. Is it love or is it circumstantial?
Knox is a babe, so
I'm saying, duh.
So does it really matter? Surely get
He's
a go.
got a bit too much of a pulse for me, but still, he could get it. Yeah. Sharon and I kind of share that opinion of forced like it's not necessary. I just don't find it necessary.
Well, I don't like it either.
Yeah.
I'm the big advocate for like people can just be friends.
Absolutely. Just
it can be.
Just
and it often happens in life.
Yeah. It's just going to work better being friends. That is okay. I guess they could like, help each other out here and there, but they don't need to like, don't kiss. Gross. It's too relationship-y. Ugh.
I was okay with it.
Yeah.
It was very obvious that was happening.
Especially when they started hating each other.
Yeah, it was the argumentative aspect of it.
Yeah, when they were fighting.
You like each other and it's dumb.
Yeah. It's so stupid.
Just kiss each other. Just touch faces already.
Touch face.
potentially this whole biome that they're living in right now is maybe going to fall apart. I guess go for it, as you may not be the head of mechanical anymore because you're a wanted criminal.
Yeah.
So they're going to find somebody else to run mechanical.
See, I guess my argument would be everything's about to fall apart, so keep your head on straight. I'd have my eye on the prize, which is not Fukin. I'd be working on something else.
But I do have to say, their plan for the barricade was pretty smart.
Yeah, it was.
I love that.
So I was a little bit confused, and hopefully you can explain some things. So obviously Knox was in front of the barricade. They had the winch. They were going to tear the door off. Where exactly did Shirley pop out?
The floor below that, they went across the little corridor off the stairs, and they went and drilled up through the ceiling and got up on that same floor. So they're also on 120. But they're across
wait, 130.
Wherever the barricade.
Okay. So the barricade started at 130.
Where it was,
they took it up to
130.
Okay.
So they're on 131. Pop up onto level 130, which is where the barricade is.
Gotcha.
They're on the other side of the corridor. He's on the staircase. She's on the other part.
Okay.
So that's where she popped up from.
Okay. Because I saw her at eye level at one point, and I'm like, wait.
Yeah.
What the? Okay.
At first, I thought the winch was the system for dropping. And I was like, how did you get that? Because you wouldn't have, because you used it. And obviously, but then I understood it was a different piece of machinery. Yeah. So I loved the plan. I thought it was really cool. And it just showed how smart Camille is. She's so smart. Why is she not the shadow for Holland? She's so far beyond what anyone else is thinking about, even her husband. I don't know what year this is supposed to be in. Let's say it's 25. She's living in like 28, 25. I just really liked that she like pieced it all together. They still couldn't stop it, but at least give them like a heads up. I don't know. Maybe intentionally she didn't stop it.
She did piece things together because the guy from IT told Sims about the saw that they were using, and then he told Camille, and she was like, oh. Not even Sims, I don't think. Did he even make the connection?
I think he pieced it together, but I don't know. She is puppeting all of this stuff to happen around them.
I think part of it is she wants Holland to regret what he did to Sims. What was the line she said about let them simmer in their mistakes or something? Let them deal with it while we're actually handling it.
I don't know. It's just crazy to see how far forward they could think and kind of foresee how people are going to act. Because how would you know? But it makes me wonder, did she wait to tell them until it was already started? Because I almost feel like she wants mechanical to further this revolution. She saved Knox and Shirley, conveniently is there when all of this goes down, but they're able to gain enough floors so that they get the farm level so that they're not worried about barricades anymore. You're up to something. I don't know what it is. I like it.
Well, I like what you said earlier. There's got to be something about Camille we don't know yet.
I feel like there has to be.
Her actions are extremely deliberate, but confusing at the same time.
Yes.
We are missing a huge bit of information about Camille.
We have to be. I had said this like a couple weeks ago. I'm wondering if something about this is generational. And what I mean by that is much like George technically was kind of a flame keeper because his mother had been a flame keeper. What if there's like another grouping that's generational that we don't know anything about yet?
A group of people that they just haven't mentioned or brought up?
Yeah. Because obviously there's all of these backdoor dealings that we don't know about. For instance, the people on 127 drop food down the chutes.
Oh.
Or 122.
Yeah.
It was one of those. It was like one of the lower levels.
122 was the mid-level farming floors.
Someone
but
dropped.
The note that came down with all this stuff, they said.
It was 122. To our friends in mechanical, thanks for always keeping the power on from your friends on 122. Juliet lives. There's obviously all these backdoor dealings happening, which of course, yes, is part of revolution, but the fool's errand is to think that this is the only time that that's going on. Because clearly it's happening at every other time because people have relics that they're passing around that they're not supposed to have. There's drugs in the silo somehow that people are manufacturing. Things are being dealt back and forth and kind of have been maybe always. And there's a lot of secrets being kept by people. And that's just like a really delicate ecosystem that you're putting together because the doctors are lying to the patients about the removal of the birth control, which is insane to me.
Terrible.
All the secrets being kept by janitorial which isn't even really the janitor. Who's actually taking out the trash is what I want to know.
Yeah.
You're also busy in that. Who's actually running janitorial?
Because they're not doing it. Where are the real janitors?
Where are the janitors, Rachel?
I don't know.
That's worrisome to me. They obviously would have seen some guy go into a closet and then not come back out for hours. That's weird.
Maybe they just hope people don't pay attention to janitorial, but someone has to actually be doing the job because it's a very important job.
Right?
Or maybe not. People are just chucking stuff down these trash chutes.
They're doing the chutes and that's getting sorted by the people in, I don't remember what section that was, but where Juliet starts.
Yeah.
Working. But what about cleaning up the hallways and stuff? What if a kid like accidentally throws up?
Yeah, who's cleaning that up?
I'm sure people are trying to do their best to keep up with things, but then isn't it obvious to people that there shouldn't be a janitorial and that's weird? If janitors actually aren't doing anything and there are no janitors, so there have to be janitors, but where are they?
Maybe they're under a different title.
They've got to be under that title because Sims is under that title and people assume that he was just the head of janitorial. But also, why would you be afraid of the head of janitorial? None of this really adds up to me.
Nope. If he's the boogeyman, why are people afraid of
I'm getting to, does janitorial handle the bodies? Is that what they're, no, because they take those to the farming levels. I don't really know.
I don't know. This is definitely one of those things that the writers are like, shh, just don't ask.
Don't think about it too much.
Don't think about it. Just no.
Don't think about it too
and
much.
Here we are. We're like, maps. No.
There was one thing I wanted to ask you about. How did you feel about Dr. Nichols coming to Walker and Walker being so adamant that Juliet's dead?
I think Walker is still trying to convince herself that Juliet's dead because she hasn't come back. So what other possibility is there? I like what she said about, because he questioned her, if it wasn't going to help her survive forever or whatever, like why? Why would you do that? And I do like her explanation. I didn't want her to die on that hill. I didn't want to stare at that screen every day and see Juliet. So if she's going to die, I wanted it to be out of sight. It's definitely up for debate. Does she actually think Juliet is dead, or is she trying to convince herself of that? Because if Juliet were alive, she would have come back.
Well, yeah, but it's not like they're going to let her in. If she walks up to the door, it would be a nightmare for them to handle that. Holland he would lose his mind.
Literally.
He would lose his mind.
He kind of is right now, but that would definitely send him over the edge.
Tactical defense. Ugh, they have the guns. I can't even believe that.
They don't use guns until they have to.
Has to be like super dangerous, I would imagine, in such a small area to really have them.
Sure. Everything's curved in there and the ricochet would be awful.
There's a lot of metal work in there. I would worry about it.
You could do rubber bullets too, not even real ones.
Oh, that's true.
Do you think that Pete was coming to Walker for reassurance that Juliet was dead?
Maybe he just felt like he was going to gain some solidarity or something, having someone else who loved Juliet as much as he did, because he knows she essentially became Juliet's mom after her mother had passed and she left. And he didn't get to be around for so much of Juliet's life. So that must really feel like a connection to him, knowing that Walker was there and that she kept her safe, helped to raise her. Coming to her really is a way to get that connection to Juliet. I love that he still has hope that she's alive. And it makes me want to scream at the TV because I'm like, she is alive, you idiots. She is. She's being held captive by some nut job who's also Steve Zahn. But yeah, I love that he still has hope, because when we go over shows, I am like, people are absolutely the worst. They're absolute garbage. It's rooted in my belief system. That's why I'm so adamant about this. People are bad because I believe in sin and people are sinful. It's not that I don't hope that people won't be better. My hope is frankly nearly endless. If it wasn't, I would have kicked the bucket a long time ago, because I've had points like that in my life where I was nearly completely depleted of hope. And yet, after all of the stuff that I've been through, after everything that's happened in my life and how hard my life has been, I still am so hopeful about what the future will hold. And like, I'm not young. So the fact that I'm pushing 40 and I'm like, yeah, things will still all shake out for me might be crazy. It might be insane. Now, who knows? Because people have wild turns of events later in their life. And I never thought I was going to get married. I hit a point where I was like, it ain't happening, sister. You're on your own. And I did. And now I'm really happy. And I never thought that I would have this happiness ever. So who knows what's out there for people, especially Rachel, for you and I. Some things in life we started later than other people, and it didn't always shake out the way that I wanted it to. And I have a lot of regrets about my 20s because I didn't push myself to do what I did then in my late 20s, early 30s. And now even into my late 30s, things can change at any time. And so I'm like forever hopeful. So like seeing a character be that hopeful, it was nice. Yeah, man. You should hope that your daughter's still alive. Why would you just accept the fact that she's dead? You haven't seen her body. You don't know. No one's gone until they're gone. Allegedly. They're supposed to be representative of two things. He's representative of the hope that Juliet actually is still alive and not just a movement of people. And Walker is the representation that she is gone, but she can live on in memory.
I like that.
Look at that, Dave. There you go.
I like that.
Dave will be happy.
Definitely. Yeah. If you're a good parent, I think you have a special connection with your children. And I've heard testaments. Unfortunately, I listen to a lot of like murder podcasts and like true crime and stuff like that.
Same.
And you'll hear parents say, I knew the minute that they weren't there anymore. It's a feeling that you get. I almost wonder if Pete can feel Julia somehow. Just that little spark is what's keeping that hope alive.
That's why I'm so like, I hope she comes back to the silo somehow.
Of course she's coming back.
She wants to come back so she can tell them, don't come out here. Even if she knows that she won't ever be allowed in, she wants to at least save the people that she loves. I'm hopeful that she'll be able to find a way in and that that'll work out for her. But we won't know until we get there. And as much as I love to talk about it, I am of the belief that you just got to let things happen sometimes. And I can't sit here and give you all my theories all day long because, like, what's the point? We're just like, I'm just like wasting
that's what we
energy.
do here, right? I mean, she's definitely coming back. I don't know what that looks like. Kind of what I picture, because like you said, they're not going to just open the door and be like, oh, welcome back. Like, I don't see that happening. Maybe she writes a message.
Maybe.
And she can get that in front of the camera.
That's why I was so big on like the tunnel stuff, because I was like, maybe it's connected.
She doesn't even need to come in through the front door, whatever you want to call it. I am a huge fan of your tunnel theory.
If that comes true, I'm going to be so excited.
I think there's got to be something there. Like you said, these writers are deliberate. They know what they're doing. They are following somewhat of a template. And it makes sense that these silos would be connected somehow.
It does. Sorry, this is unrelated, but it's just like, as we're thinking about the silos as a whole, like a holistic view of all of the stuff that's happened, I was starting to think about the fact that Bernard had said that it had been 140 years that peace had maintained in the silo. So that started to give us more of a firm timeline. So 140 years. There's the revolution before that.
Yeah.
So what? Minimum 200 years.
Give or take, yeah.
How is the air still poisonous? This is beyond nuclear holocaust situation. It doesn't take that long to degrade.
That's fair.
It happens faster, actually, than we are given through Hollywood's telling. It actually happens faster than that radiation can die down.
What are the chances this is not Earth?
I had said the thing about them being aliens, and maybe they are, but maybe they're still human.
What if they're not on Earth, and that's why the atmosphere is
Earth was destroyed, and they had to leave.
And they traveled to a different... Because the whole thing is, we don't know why we can't go outside. Earth no longer exists. This group of people, however big that is, goes to an inhabitable planet, but burrows underground.
I love it. I love it. There are buildings in the background.
You know what? Juliet did see sort of a city.
It wasn't recognizable, so it's not like, oh, that's this city.
The first humans to come to this planet could have tried to build on the surface.
Maybe.
And said, this ain't working.
This is interesting. I like this theory.
But like you said, if it were radiation, if it were some sort of nuclear war, as long as nobody's still out there launching things, it would have cleared up after 200 years.
Is a long time.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, buckle up because it's a lot less than I thought it was. So 24 to 48 hours, The duration for radiation to dissipate depends on the type of radiation and the specific fallout.
Fair.
Immediate lethal effects can last a few days to several weeks, but people must stay indoors for 24 to 48 hours to escape high levels of radiation.
Okay.
At that point, they can leave. Energy radiation and contamination may take a few months to return to safe levels. The radioactivity of fission products decreases rapidly due to radioactive decay, with residual radioactivity decreasing to about 10% after 7 hours, 1% after 48 hours. But okay, that's just theoretical. This article was in Grunge. I will make sure to copy it and put a link in our Discord so that Dave can upload it. But how much longer until Chernobyl's radiation is completely gone? And this was written in 2020. This is a real life example. April 26, 1986, the Ukrainian nuclear power plant at Chernobyl found itself quite unexpectedly exploding. The reactor exploded. It caused a whole exclusion zone. It is the size of 1,000 square miles. And that was a preventative measure to ensure minimal further loss of life. One of the many, many factors that complicates the question, how long until Chernobyl isn't radioactive anymore, is that the explosion wasn't anything like, say, the kind you'd see after the detonation of a nuclear bomb. Instead of throwing off radiation in a single devastating burst, it threw irradiated material all over the landscape, some of which buried itself in the ground and continues to leak high energy Geiger counter toe tappers into the environment to this day.
You've heard about the radium girls. There are reports that you can still stand at their gravesite and get readings.
Yes.
But like you said, that's radioactive material.
Put simply, some parts of Chernobyl will expose you to less radiation than a cross-country commercial flight just 3 decades after the initial accident.
Wow.
Some parts.
Wow.
Which didn't know I was being exposed to radiation on commercial flights, but so glad that I am.
Same.
Cool.
Same.
If you want to see the physical reactor itself, however, you'll want to wait a while longer. As reported by Newsweek, experts believe that it will not be safe for another 20,000 years.
Wow.
Which is insane. We're talking actual material, though. We're talking reactor site. We're talking where all of it went down.
Green ooze all over your stuff.
Essentially, for the world to look the way that it did would mean that nuclear reactors would have had to have exploded. Now, they are outside of a city, so maybe. And you have to argue, if a government determined that they wanted to specifically take out reactor sites, that could cause very long-term huge damage.
Yes.
But just dropping a bomb could not do it.
If you're seeing damage from radioactive material versus a bomb going off, because when you say bomb, I picture fire and ash and things burning and what the surface looks like on silo. But if it's radioactive material, what is that?
Oh,
does that also mimic burning and ash?
No, Chernobyl is wild looking. Years ago, these photos were circulating of an area of Western North Carolina in which there was a Wizard of Oz theme park that had been abandoned. And it looked so spooky. The yellow brick road was there, but like there was grass growing in between the bricks, really spooky looking. It had like this really weird vibe. There's an area of Disney that was left. It's creepy to us. It gives us that uncanny valley feeling because it's saying that like our time there is done as humans. So something about it just kind of hits like this weird spot in your brain. Obviously creepy because forever ago and also amusement parks again. This is kind of how it looked like immediately following. This is how it looks like now. So things are growing. Just because it's irradiated doesn't mean that it stops everything. Things are growing.
Yeah, especially that one with the bumper cars. You can see greenery.
You can see all the moss and stuff growing. It doesn't just shut it off. Stuff still grows. Stuff is still there. Yeah, here we go. Wildlife. Wildlife lives. It's taken over.
Yeah.
They're just out and about. And they're living wherever they want to live. And they're...
Oh my gosh, those birds are so cute.
They're living there, and you got remember it's irradiated. I'm sure there's like gene mutations and stuff.
Yeah, they had to have like built up a tolerance though. If these animals live in the area, does it work like that?
I'm not really sure, but or they're
he's got a mouthful of bread.
He's got just straight up a loaf of bread. It's become an unexpected haven for wildlife because it's not touchable by humans.
People can't go in there, yeah. So all of this to say, what we're seeing on Silo is most likely the results of a bomb being dropped. Because it's ash. There's nothing green
a bomb, but like a bomb targeting specifically reactors.
Sure. Yes. Yeah.
Because I don't know how else that would have happened.
It looks burned.
Yeah, it does. The second or third book is called Dust because it's about outside of the silo. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That was a long tangent that has nothing to do with this episode, but it's just something I've been thinking about lately.
I hadn't thought about the idea of it being another planet until just now.
I like that better. That makes more sense to me than other stuff.
Than them not being able to go outside because of the result of a bomb or something. Yeah. Yeah. Because life would have started growing. Nature would have bounced back for sure.
Nature finds a way.
Yes, it does. Nature does find a way. Are we ready to talk about Lucas Kyle? I'm still kind of nervous for him. I'm not putting anything past Holland.
That was a frantic choice, and he's pissed at Sims and his wife.
Oh, for sure. He feels outside of their loop.
And Amundsen is an idiot. So, like...
Oh, he's trying so hard, though.
He's not good at his job.
He's not, but he's trying.
He's trying.
A for effort. This code is interesting.
It is really interesting because this is Quinn's code, but the alphabet reversed and shifted 3 letters over. Doesn't look like anything. It's gobbledygook, except for here. Silo. I doubt Salvador Quinn would spell silo wrong because it was Sillo.
L-L-O, yeah.
And Lucas is like, I thought the same. Here's another iteration, still reversed, but shifted over 10. Allie. Quinn's daughter's name was Allie. You might be onto something. Right. Except that none of the other words are coherent. Then he's like, well, this is far beyond a Caesar shift.
Yep.
Which is essentially shifting the alphabet 1.
Or however many. The Caesar shift could be any number of shifts.
It's any number, but it's taking our current alphabet and shifting it over is what a Caesar shift is. He says, this is so sophisticated. It's a code within a code. In order to decipher it, you would have to what? You'd have to see the legacy. Legacy. I don't know what that is.
Legacy.
Stand up. Lucas Kyle, I will elect you to be my shadow. Please place your right hand on the pack. Do accept. So it's like this really sudden thing. But as I'm looking at the script, it's right after Knox and Shirley have gained the floors. Amundsen is like, Mr. Mayor, it wasn't optimum, but they only got 10 floors.
Ugh.
And he's like, what level's the new barricade on? 120. And what is down on level 122?
And Amundsen doesn't know. He should have known that answer.
It's like either he knew or he didn't want to say it out loud. I'm not really sure where he stood there, but he was not happy about it.
The guy with the auntie, he was the one that ended up answering.
I know. So not only has that happened, but then also Billings has gone to talk to Walker and is like, hey, I don't know where Carla is. She may be in seclusion. What happened to Judge Meadows? Then he goes to talk to Knox and Shirley and is like, what happened? And they're like, she was killed before we even got there.
Mm-hmm.
We were framed. He goes to the mayor and he's like, hey, I have to do an investigation. Which one? Paul Billings, I love you. I love him so much because it's not about like, now that I'm in the down deep, I see that the down deep people are right and the other people are wrong. He's like, all of you are wrong. I'm trying to follow the law. He's been true to himself this entire time. Even when Juliet was there and is like, there's more going on here. He's like, I don't care. I'm just trying to keep the law. I'm trying to keep the peace. That's my job. I'm not here to like solve all these unending mysteries of the silo. I'm here to do my job. Yep. And so he goes to the mayor and is like, hey, now you're going to do an investigation. Nope. Now you're cut off. Thank God your wife and daughter traveled down there without your knowing, because otherwise you'd be really screwed. But luckily they're down there, so they're safe with him. So now they all just live in the down deep, I guess. Anyway, he says, I located the fugitives. I'm not revealing their location at this time. I need to open a full investigation into the events of the death of Judge Meadows, as well as a new investigation. And that's where it gets cut off, because he wants to open a new investigation into the attack on the deputy station.
Oh.
Because 2 people died, supposedly. Now, that's what was reported, but as we well know, 2 people did not die. But why was Kennedy allowed to go down there? That has to do with Sims. That's why he wants to reopen the he wants to open a brand new investigation, untampered with by like whoever tampered with the first one. Judicial, obviously. And that's when he's like, I just lost the sheriff. He's lost the barricade. He's losing the revolution.
He is. Yeah.
He's losing.
The barricade where it stands is pointless.
It's pointless.
It's
he lost the barricade.
Pointless.
He lost the sheriff.
I feel like he never really had the sheriff. Billings was
didn't.
always going to do the right
He
thing.
put Billings
never
in
had
because
him.
he thought they had Billings under their thumb. They never did.
No, never.
And now he doesn't even have the judge because it's Sims. And Sims is out for himself with his wife. So now he's got nobody. So that's this knee-jerk reaction where he's like, Lucas Kyle, will you be my shadow? Because I got nobody else now.
Well, I don't know about terrible decision, but Lucas has definitely proved he has a mind of his own. He's a free thinker as well. So
He
he's
is.
not going to be easy to manipulate.
No. And also, what is the legacy? Because if Meadows was able to solve this code and decode this message,
Was she?
she knew what the message said.
Well, she knew it was in code, but did
She said that she would never, because she knew what it
Okay,
said.
she
because
did. Okay.
Holland wanted her to share it, and she said, I will never.
Okay, all right.
And then she died.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he got Lucas in the first place, because he's like, I've got to know what's on here. And now I'm going to have Lucas Kyle put it together because at least he could think, although I thought for sure he was going to ask Walker to do it. So I'm still surprised by that. Now we've got Lucas is going to be the shadow, which is insane. Also, what is the legacy?
Yeah.
I don't know, but holy cow. So all of this kind of happened one thing after the other. Also, this happens in between all of this stuff happening to Holland and then him deciding to ask Lucas. Billings no longer takes his herbs.
He's been so distracted with everything lately.
Do you think that's why? Because it's busy? For instance, for those of you who don't know, I don't know how you wouldn't know at this point, but my heart stopped 6 years ago. Suddenly, still to this day, no one knows why. I've had MRIs done. I was tested for lupus. Everything you could think of, I was tested for. Nobody knows why. I'm alive. Through some miracle, we could get into the whole my belief and that's solidifying it, but we're not going to. Every time I talk to my mother-in-law, she's like, maybe you have this, maybe you have this, because she's got a lot of chronic health issues. I always tell her, I'm like, well, I just got to get up and do things. So I got to get up and do it. Yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired all the time. I'm perpetually exhausted. But it's that or I lay in bed and feel sorry for myself. So like, I just get up and go. And the days that I'm busier, the less time I have to think about how tired I am.
Yes.
Right? Until the end of the day when I need to go to bed. I have some pretty maybe out there theories about why mental health issues are on the rise and why anxiety is so high now. And I think it's because we have too much time on our hands to be worried about stuff that we didn't have time to be worried about 100 years ago. You used to worry about where your food came from. Now you just worry about making money to go buy the food that will always be at the store. So I don't have to go hunt or look for water sources or grow my own food or spend all of my time really focusing on these things just to live. And because we have so much convenience, which I'm not saying it's a bad thing, convenience is a great thing. It's a blessing that we have all of this convenience. But as a result, now we have more time on our hands, arguably more than we've ever had before. I know we all work 40-hour-a-week jobs, okay? I get that. But you got to look outside of that. Before 40-hour-a-week jobs,
it was a lifestyle. Your life was work. Yeah.
Yep. You had to grow or make things that you could sell, and then you had to go sell them. But then you also had to make sure that you had enough food to survive. Just go read a Laura Ingalls Wilder book and then tell me again that they didn't work all the time. But because of that, I think that has a lot to do with it. So if your brain is really busy, then you don't have time to notice the things that are wrong.
This is why I keep myself busy, constantly jumping into distractions.
Yes. Anything with chronic depression or anxiety disorders will tell you that they're the kind of people who constantly say yes to everything because it's a coping mechanism. If I'm busy, then I can't think about how depressed I am. Then I can't think about how anxious I am about everything. If I'm super busy all of the
100%.
time, my brain is occupied. Therapists would probably tell you that's not a super healthy way to handle it either, but
Is it not?
But I'm still here. So who's right and who's wrong?
I think distractions are a very good thing. And I think that's what happened with Billings. He's been so focused on everything that's going on around him. And the last time we talked, someone did mention something relating to this. We were talking about like, what is the symptom? And is it a result of having to do things and comply with things, follow these rules that he's not really comfortable with? Is it more about going against what you know is right? Is that what's causing the syndrome? And now that he is making the right choices, he's following through on things. Now he's doing this investigation. Something isn't right. And so he's going to find out what it is. And so the symptoms of the syndrome aren't happening.
We would argue he did the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
He followed the law. He even says, I don't know that it was the right thing.
Well, I think somewhere deep down he does, though. He's got to know he's making the right choices.
Yeah, I guess why else make the decision?
You can question yourself, yes. Is it the right thing? But deep down, it is the choice that he made. So he's got to trust it somewhere in his gut that he did the right thing.
I know I said I love that he stood up for himself, but his line was so good. I don't stand with the mayor or the judge or you.
Yes.
I stand with the law.
I stand with the law. He sounded like such a cowboy.
It was so good. It was so good. I was like, yes, yes.
I want him to stick his thumbs in his pockets and just like mosey on out.
I know, right? Their faces when they kind of turned and looked at each other like, oh, he's not at all like Juliet.
No.
At all. So it's so interesting that he was her deputy as he's not at all like her. But I love that he's so adamant about following through on this. It was just so cool.
It's the best thing for Shirley and Knox, too, because they're telling the truth. If you believe in justice, the truth will set you free. Not usually in the real world, but maybe on TV, the truth really will set you free.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows?
I guess we'll find out. Lucas Kyle, the shadow.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going back to the mine now.
No.
So that solves that problem, I guess, for us.
Oh, how about the scene where Sims walks in and sees him, too?
He's like, what are you doing here?
What are you doing here? The mayor wanted me. Oh, my gosh. The panic on his face was just beautiful.
It's all coming to a head. Sims's plan is not working at all. And even his wife says, you're the judge now. None of this matters.
Mm-hmm.
You're the judge now. You can't do anything. Essentially, I have to take care of all of it because I'm the mastermind behind this whole plan anyway.
Which is wild. We heard Shirley tell Knox, everyone thinks Judge Meadows is the boss.
Yes.
And the only reason she wasn't is because she had a drinking problem and she wasn't fit for duty or whatever. But in theory, the judge is supposed to be running things.
I think in the way that it really runs, IT really does run everything. Now, it's hard because the mayor and the head of IT are the same person right now. Normally, I think the mayor really would be. But that's the thing. It's like they're all puppets.
For IT?
I guess.
Who do the people believe?
Well, and the mayor seemed to have more power when it was...
David would know. He's listening to us right now, screaming her name.
I can't remember it.
I can't either. What was it, Dave? Ruth
Mayor
Johns.
Johns.
There, you can stop yelling at us, Dave.
It seemed like Mayor Johns had more authority.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard because head of IT and mayor are now the same person, even though they never had another election or anything, because now he's just been that and nobody said anything about it. And I guess that really hasn't been that long of a period of time.
That's true, too. We feel like it's been a long time, but this is also happening very, very quickly. Who do you think would sort of call for, because he's the interim mayor, but who would call for an election? Who would
what would be smart? Sims.
Yeah.
But he's been appointed to judge, and I think that's lifelong appointment.
But could he say, hey, we're going to hold an election to appoint?
I don't know if you can hold both posts. Much like our system, they have the branches separate so that they don't become too powerful.
Well, I don't mean have Sims be both judge and mayor. I mean, could Sims just say, oh, that's a good idea too. I'm just saying, what if Sims, as the judge, said, all right, everyone, we're having an election. We're going to, an all the time mayor.
You should be like, let's get this guy out of here.
Right.
Why is
if you
he doing
want it to be
still?
this guy, who's going to run against the head of our IT?
Mrs. Sims, I think would be a good call. But
as mayor, I don't know. She
Again, I don't understand their motive, so I don't know what they're trying to do.
Either. She is a shady, shady bee.
I'm looking back over the script. I did finally find the part where Martha talks to Pete Nichols. And now that I'm rereading it, I don't know that she does necessarily think Juliet is dead. Here's
it seems like she's trying to convince herself of it.
I agree with you because she said, I did it for her, doctor, and for you and me and for everyone down here who knew and loved her. And yeah, some days wanted to strangle her. I did it because I knew she wouldn't want any of us to watch her dying on that hill. And he says, but you don't think she's still alive? I don't see how.
Exactly.
That's where it ends.
Exactly.
So yeah, maybe there is a little spark of hope in her still. And then that leads to the end of the episode, which is we finally get to see Juliet again.
For like a second.
And Steve Zahn is like, you better figure out how to make this pump work because I took your helmet and I locked it up and now you'll never get it.
I don't know how this would happen, but I would like to see Juliet and Solo leave the silo together. I would like to see him rejoin a community.
Here's the thing. I'm worried that, yeah, he kept the helmet and he's saying it's about the pump. But once the pump is fixed, don't you think it's going to be something else?
Some other reason for her to stay?
Because I don't think it's really about the silo. I think it's about
companionship,
having someone to talk to,
having someone there. Well, and that's why I would like to see him come on over to
18 is the one that everybody's in.
Okay. Solo is from 17. Now David's screaming and yelling at us again.
Yeah, probably.
It's 17, you idiots. That seems very obvious. She is going to get back to the original silo. That's what I'm going to call it.
Well, here's the other thing I'd be willing to contend could happen. Walker has an illegal radio. What if she could radio her to tell her what she knows? So maybe she doesn't have to go there, but at least to be able to share the information, because she has to share with them that it is bad outside and they don't want to go outside, because the other information that's out there is that Kennedy saw the screen.
Yeah.
And he saw what he described as beautiful and green and everything.
And he thinks it's real.
Yes. Just like she did when she left.
Right. Until she saw the birds. And the only reason she put 2 and 2 together is because she saw the original video on the hard drive.
Correct.
So the only hope, well, see, that's not going to happen either, because if people believe that it's beautiful outside, they're going to run out there with no helmets. And then they're going to be like, wait a minute.
So that footage lie, combined with the fact that she was able to walk over the hill, they think that it's fine. Or that's what they're going to think, and that's going to come to a head. And that's really scary because they don't have the right information.
And now Billings knows about this too. Yeah. Somehow Juliet has to let everybody know that the screen is a lie. Well, nobody knows what she's going to be talking about. So she just has to convince them that it is dangerous outside.
Yeah.
Just don't go outside. Talking about the screen would be pointless. Unless you go out there, you've never seen it.
Correct. But just to tell them that it's not safe out there.
I like that radio theory, though.
Maybe. So just something.
Yeah.
Granted, they're under many, many, many miles of concrete, I would argue. So
that's
who
true.
knows? I want her to get back there. I would love for there to be like a whole cat and mouse situation where they're trying to find her and they can't. And she's like navigating the tunnels and stuff.
I'm 100% convinced. I don't know when it's going to happen, but she's going to get back to the silo. With or without Solo. I would like it to be with Solo.
I need him to be like less scary though.
How adorable though. They get back to the OG silo and he gets a haircut. There's this big reveal once he's in a safe place.
He's cute. Steve Zahn. We all love him. We know him and love him.
His beautiful blue eyes.
He gave us the words that if it's all stuck together, it counts as one nacho. And we'll never forget that.
Everyone I know, when you pull out anything that is stuck together, it counts as one.
Per the film pinnacle of Steve Zahn's career,
Steve Zahn gave us that magic. It counts as one.
So much happened in this episode that there's not a lot to talk about, because that's how that goes.
Right. Did you see the title for the next episode?
The next one is called The Dive. She's working on the pump, maybe. I was a little bit upset that we didn't get more of the back and forth in this episode, but we might be going back to the formula of separate, together. Separate, together. It might kind of go that route.
Which I'm okay with. And we got a little bit at the end. I'm not mad at that, especially this. I mean, there was a lot in this episode. So they did definitely need to keep it all in one. Going back and forth may have taken you out of the dramatics.
I'm excited to watch this next episode. If you like what you heard, you can go to ratethispodcast.com/squawking dead. Give us 5 stars and a winch is all you need to tell us that you love us. But tell us if you loved us. Tell us if you didn't love us. Tell us what we missed. But just tell us anything, really. And beyond that, if you'd like to join a membership tier, which we would love because that would make you the bee's knees, you can go to ko-fi.com/squawkingdead or patreon.com/squawkingdead, and you can join a membership tier there. And you know what? The lower levels are really cheap, and you could do that, and then you'd have access to our Discord, and you could talk to us about whatever you want. And I'm not going to lie to you. Everyone's like, it's super fun. Join the Discord. It's not that active. You know why? Because there's not enough of you. So just join and we'll talk to you. But right now, I got 2 people talking in the memes channel.
I guarantee you some funny memes.
There could be more.
That'll happen. Just do it.
What's wrong with you? The higher levels let you do things like be involved in when we record, or if we go live, or if we go live exclusively, or if we record in these private recording sessions. You could have your say if you wanted to, but you've got to join a membership tier to do that. You could also get a membership tier that would allow you to be on screen with us, and that's actually how I joined this whole hullabaloo of a podcast was by doing that. So who knows? Maybe you're really good at podcasting. Maybe you're like, hey, I could do that if these two schmoes could do it. And maybe you're right.
Maybe you could do it better.
That's what I said. I was like, I could have my own podcast. Why don't I have my own podcast? And then
she did.
And then I joined this one.
Yeah.
And it happened. So those are options for you if you wanted. I mean, you could spend $25 a month or whatever at like Starbucks. You could do that in a week, honestly. Or you could instead have a podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know. The choice is yours. But either way, if you're interested, you should shell out some money because we're broke as a joke.
No, we need to keep the lights on. I did not introduce either one of us at the top of the show.
Oh, yeah. Hey, cool. I've been Bridget. And you can find me at youtube.com/Punky Brewster. That's PUNKYBRUISETER. Or ko-fi.com/Punky Brewster. PUNKYBRUISETER. And I was joined today by
CosmoMom09. And if you don't know where to find me, that's probably by design.
Well, there you go. She's a secret lady.
Mystery. Gotta keep you wanting more.
Yes, but not too much.
Like a good TV show, but I will give you some answers.
But not too much, because otherwise she won't like you.
That's right.
All right, and that's it. And we're out of here. And suck
Bye.
it, Dave. We did it without you. Maybe even better.
Ooh,
what now?
Fighting words.
Oh.
Thank you again for making it to the end of yet another episode of Squawking Dead. This one on Silo's 6th episode of its 2nd season titled Barricades. Did you miss me? Did you enjoy an episode without me? I know I did, actually. Just to update you a little bit on our penny raffle for Helene Relief. We had the drawing for that penny raffle on Monday, December 23rd, as we'd advised on for weeks. The great news is all the winners have checked in, which means they followed the instructions, part of which involved subscribing to our YouTube channel. And I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, as we're roughly 11 subscribers away from 1,000 subscribers. It would really make our New Year's to finally make this milestone after 7 years. And as always, we like to thank our supporters at the end of every episode for helping us get to where we are today, starting with the Great M tier, the Greatest Dish tier. We have at RealRyanGM on X and Instagram. In the Survivors tier, we have Douglas Atherton at Walking Dead Artist 2 on Instagram. Moving on to our Whispers here, we have Ko-fi.com/fanartlindy, at ElizaJones71 on Instagram, and at Kim.Rowley, the number 1 on Facebook. We're doing our best to stay afloat in our episode release schedule. Sometimes it's because of holidays and it's difficult to schedule things. Other times it's because we're sick and we have to catch up because we need rest. Either way, we're doing our best, and I hope you tune into our live streams discussing Earth Abide's final few episodes. We're going to basically combine the 4th, 5th, and 6th episodes to complete the mini-series, as I think it is a mini-series. It's not one of those multi-seasonal shows, and I hope you're enjoying it. Just remember in the meantime that we are Squawking Dead.